all you thoughtfully made people out there. It's Courtney Morrison with Made Architecture and Design, back with another week in review. So last Saturday, I got to play golf, which is kind of unusual on a Saturday, but it was a great time. And then family day after that. And then Sunday was church with the family. We had some family over for a little pregame before the Super Bowl, and then hung out and watched the Super Bowl that evening. And then on Monday, my wife and I, we went to Starbucks for their free coffee promotion that they were doing, and we filed our personal taxes, which was great to get that out of the way, and did a little bit of marketing work as well. Then on Tuesday, I went and measured a house. I talked about this in the last week in review. Some clients of mine, they live next door to her parents, and they are going to renovate her parents' house to facilitate aging in place. And so I went and measured that house for them, and starting to get ready to produce those drawings and give them some ideas. So that was Tuesday. I did some ID coordination for the remodel project that I have down near in Dunwoody, and worked on that a little bit. And then on my way home that afternoon, I came home, and out in front of the house was a good buddy of mine, Daniel Gaddis, and 3 people in high-vis, PPE. And Daniel flagged me over and introduced me, and told me that they are doing an audit. So we had sponsored something called the Marietta Bike Bus. I may try to link to that if I can figure out how to do that. The Marietta Bike Bus that Daniel Gaddis started, and these were folks from GDOT who were auditing the route for bike safety and making notes of improvements that they could make, because they bike right past my house here and go to the elementary school down the street. The reason I mentioned Daniel by name is because he has announced that he is going to run for city council. He's a dear friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, and I'm really, really excited. He's one of those people that I can just get behind pretty much anything he does. That's why we sponsored the bike bus, and we just want to cheer him on in anything that he does. So if you know him, you want to know him, look him up. He's a great dude, and we're really excited that he's running for city council. So shout out Daniel Gaddis. And then on Wednesday, I had a long meeting. The interior decorator for the remodel project that I have in Dunwoody came, and we sat down and went through her drawings. We kind of have a unique situation. It's a little bit different than what I maybe am accustomed to, that she actually is the project lead and has the initial contract with the client. I got brought in after her, and so she did a lot of work before I got brought in. And so there are parts and pieces of her scope that I'm having to pick up in my drawings. There's some stuff that I'm doing on my own, but then there are other things that I need to coordinate with her. So we went through the house room by room, talked about lighting, talked about spatial arrangement, talked about some rooms that things needed to shift. And we talked about what she was going to deliver and I was going to deliver, so that the contractor can get a permit and build, and the homeowner's expectations can be met, particularly because they have already worked so much with her, and then I'm involved. I don't want any scope gap there. So it's really important that we get together and do that. So that's what her and I did on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I had some coordination for the hardware store that I've been working on out in Decatur. And then we went to a parent-teacher conference for my daughter at her school. And right after the parent-teacher conference, my daughter and wife hit the road and left for a girls' trip, which is something they've been doing annually, and I'm really excited for them to do. So I've been flying solo and trying to get as much work done and caught up as I can, maybe even get ahead, who knows. And so that's what they did. I left the school after the parent-teacher conference and went and met a contractor on a job site that they have started. I posted a video, a short of a walkthrough of that project, really highlighting the cardboard sheathing that's on the existing house. That stuff is crazy. I don't know how that was ever permitted by code, but it is, or was. And so that was pretty wild. But I was out there because the contractor called me with some questions. He is there working, talked to the homeowner. They asked some questions. He asked some questions. And so, one thing I really want to emphasize that, if a contractor's not calling me because they have questions, I could all but guarantee something is going wrong. And if those questions are going to the owner, then I don't know that the owner is really getting value out of what they paid me to do. And so this particular contract, we have a contractor, we have a good working relationship. He called me, I went and met him, talked through the different things that he was seeing and experiencing, the questions that he had. And in this particular case, it's a pretty significant remodel. And, you know, he opened up the ceiling and the floor was sagging. So he had to reframe all of that. So there were things like that that have come up that you just don't know until you get into it with a remodel. So I was really grateful that he called, and I went out there and walked with him and talked with him, and I'll make some revised drawings or some sketches with the structural engineer to answer his questions and hopefully satisfy the owner and the changes they're thinking they want made. So that was Thursday afternoon, and actually I left there and went with that contractor to another project. The project's almost done. Walked through, and it turned out great. Really, really good. There's some differences between what I drew and what he built, but overall I think it's a net positive, and I think the owner's very pleased. So I'm really really satisfied with that. And then Friday I had got to it. Friday morning I had lunch with a Nichihara rep who actually lives near me, which is pretty convenient, and so that was great. I really enjoyed that. And then I hit the driving range with a good friend of mine who's been taking golf lessons, and so he's been practicing, and so he invited me to the golf range, to the driving range, so I got to do that, and that was a lot of fun. Like I said, my girls are out of town, so I'll be working this weekend getting caught up on things, so I'm excited for that. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions about who we are, what we do, how we do it, leave them in the comments below. I would love to interact with you guys in the comments or in a future week in review video. So until then, y'all be particular.